Hi everyone, I'm Minnie Small and today I'm going to be sharing how you can create dynamic sketchbook illustrations with paint and pencil. In this video we'll be looking at how we can make some simple watercolour fruit paintings and add depth with coloured pencils. For this painting I'm using the Strathmore mixed media sketchbook in 5.5 by 8 inches, Daler-Rowney watercolours with Princeton brushes and finishing off with Lyra polycolour pencils. So to start with, to sketch we'll be using any light coloured pencil, and later for the outlines a dark green, a couple of shades of brown, blue, orange and red. We have our watercolour palette here, a perfect small palette with all of the primary colours and some browns, a round watercolour brush, preferably with a fine tip, and some extras for the painting process. I always like to have a rag to blot extra water from my brush, and you'll of course need a container of clean water to clean your brush in. The very first thing to do is find a blank page in your sketchbook and maybe clip it open if you want to keep the pages flat. Take your light coloured pencil and start your drawing of the orange with a simple circle. It can be more flat at the top and at the bottom, and then optionally you can add a branch coming out of the top with a leaf or two attached. Then for the strawberry, draw a triangle with curved angles and a little flattened starburst shape at the top for the leaves. Two simple little circles for the blueberries. Remember, none of these need to be perfectly shaped, as nothing in nature really is, so embrace your wobbly lines and asymmetries. Add a little circle on top of one blueberry and a frilly bit to the bottom of the other. For the fig, draw a circle that curves up to a pointed top, and inside of that, off to one side, add a smaller oval to show the inside of the fruit. Pears are pretty forgiving shape-wise, so just draw an oval or circle that's thinner at the top and add a stick out the top as well. And the kiwi is a curved semicircle with another oval inside towards the top. And you can draw another very small oval in the middle of that one just to remind yourself to keep that area blank when you start painting. Now to paint. You can spritz your palette with water to wake up all the paints, or just add a dot of water to each colour. Then start with a warm yellow and a bit of red and start painting the orange. You can switch up the colour as you go, painting wet in wet with more or less yellow in the orange base, and deepen any lighter areas with another layer of the orange mix. You can also dot wet paint into wet paint. It'll all mesh together as it dries, but it'll add some interesting variation in colour through the painting. And you can also leave some dots of the page unpainted to show little specks of light hitting the dimples in the orange peel. It's nice to add a bit of green into the paint while it's still wet, just to show a bit more of that subtle variation in colour that you get in any fruit. Now more of the same, this time with red as we work on the strawberry. Again, you might want to leave some small dots in the page blank where the strawberry seeds are. It doesn't have to be a precise pattern, in fact the more random the better. Let different consistencies of paint run into each other, some more watery areas bleeding into brush strokes that are more saturated with paint. Then add blue to the red paint as you paint the shadowy bottom of the edge of the strawberry. You can mix the blue with the red on your palette, or simply let the colours blend right on the page. And with that blue and red mix already on your palette, you can move on to the blueberries, painting them a light purple colour and adding more paint into the areas that you want to shade, even including some of those little green areas into your wet painting. For this one I use a slightly darker purple to paint around the little circle at the top of the blueberry. Now you can add some green to the orange colour that we mixed earlier, and it will make the perfect earthy colour for the pear. Continue to add some variation in the colour as you go, with more or less green, yellow, brown, and a tip if your green is too green, add a little red to it to dull it down a bit. For the fig you can use red and blue again to mix a rich purple and paint that all over, again varying how much red or blue you use throughout and letting the different shades blend into each other. Make sure to leave that middle circle white, then mix a light orange with red and a little bit of yellow and paint that into the centre of the blank middle of the fig. Clean off your brush and use a small amount of yellow to start blending that area out into the white, and paint in little dots to imitate the texture inside of the fig and to help you blend the colours into each other. Deepen the red in the middle if you want to, and then drag that colour down to the bottom of the fig. Now the kiwi is just a yellow ochre on the outside with bits of brown mixed in. Again, use dots of paint on the wet page to add a bit of texture. You might need to wait a little while, all the rest of the painting might be dry by now. You can use the green you mixed earlier to add the leaf and the branch to your orange, using some brown as you get nearer to the branch and stem, and adding yellow to the leaf for a bit of variation. The same green can be used for the strawberry leaves. Don't worry if one colour starts to blend into another. The magic of this technique is that when you add the pencil you can also draw over any areas that you want to change. That green with some brown is the perfect colour for the stalk of the pear. and then you can make a light green for the inside of the kiwi. Paint it in a little halo, leaving the inside of the circle and the outer edge white, and then clean off your brush, dab off any excess water and feather the edge of the circle out. While the paint is still wet, deepen the colour at the centre of the kiwi, remembering to keep the middle clear. So now we're ready to add some outlines. As you can see, the edges of my painting aren't particularly straight or crisp. This step really helps to fix that and give a more finished look to these paintings. Outline the orange with orange pencil and start to shade where the orange meets the branch. Use light strokes that follow the contour of the shape. Lightly shade where the leaf hangs over the orange and any areas around the edge of the circle that you want to add some depth to and some dimension. You can also add shadow to the little dimples in the orange and add some more little dots throughout to show more of the orange's texture. I always like to add some extra little shapes around these floating objects just to make them look a bit more dynamic. And with a dark green pencil, outline the branch and the leaf and add some detail with thin lines inside the leaf and some shadow too. Finish off by outlining the branch and use the same colour to deepen any shadows around the orange and add a few more dimples. Now use a dark red pencil to do the same on the strawberry, go around the edge, switching to dark blue when you get to the shaded portion. Shade lightly with the blue and add shadows around the white seeds, and go back to the red pencil to deepen those shadows around the seeds and add a few more dots and dimples in any areas that you want to add texture. Use green to outline the top of the strawberry and add any other little shapes around it on the page. The dark blue pencil can be used to outline the blueberries. Around the light circle at the top of the blueberry, draw a little wavy line all around it and lightly shade in the roundness of the berries. You can outline the fig with the same colour and shade it similarly, and then use dark red to draw in small spots fanning out from the centre. You might want to deepen the shading in the middle with red pencil too, and an orange pencil to keep fading the dots from the middle out towards the edge of the fig's inside. I also decided to do some shading with orange on the purple of the fig just to add a bit of contrast, and I deepened the shadows in the middle with the dark blue pencil, adding a few little dots throughout. The pear is very simple to outline and shade in the same way, so I added some orange again just to vary the colouring a little bit. Using pencil to outline these paintings also gives you the opportunity to add texture to the edges, for example using wavy and jagged lines around the kiwi to show its furry outside, and after shading adding a few little hairs sticking up here and there. Then use the dark green to shade the middle of the kiwi outwards in strokes that follow the round shape, and another darker layer of the same closer to the centre. Then finish off with lots of little dark seeds with either dark brown or black pencil. Using pencil and watercolours together can open lots of opportunities to play with texture and depth, so I hope that you have enjoyed this time in your sketchbook, and I hope that you can use some of these methods in your future paintings. Thanks for watching.